'08 Harley Nightster 1200. It's got Vance and Hines exhaust on it with a, I think it's an Arlen Ness front fender. Pretty much stock other than that. It's got about 10,000 miles on it. It's my brother's motorcycle. It's a good looking bike. 2008. It's pretty fun to ride around town. You know, it doesn't have a ton on the top end, but it's very loud. Watch the engine. Watch the engine rumble as it goes. Here you go. Rode it like, I don't know, a mile here, so it's a little warmed up. Take it for a ride. Just a small little ride. Peanut style tank. 9,800 miles. 9,900 miles. It's a fun bike. It's much different than any other bike I have, or that I've ridden. It's very loud. You get a lot of attention just for how loud it is. Like I said, it's not, my brother rode it, you know, we rode it, he rode it 500 miles in a day with me when I was on my BMW. And he's, you know, I think he said he did fine with it, but it's not really meant for that. The gas tank only goes over, I think it only does maybe 120 miles on the gas tank because it's a small tank. But it's a fun bike. It gets up and goes, and you can definitely feel the torque. And it's loud. Like I said, it turns a lot of heads. Once you get above, you know, 75 miles an hour, though, it's really not really built for that. You can do it, you know, no problem. But you know, it's definitely like a city 55 mile an hour road bike. That's kind of where it's like the most enjoyable. Any bike without a fairing really is going to be that way. I mean, this has, I guess you put a little fairing on this thing, but it's not much better than a sport bike. So same thing with my FZ6 I have. It's not, you know, you can do 200-300 mile days on them, no problem. Well, maybe not no problem. Like I said, it's not the most comfortable thing to do. Anything over like 100 miles probably on the Phaser or on this bike is, it's not that it's terrible, it's just, you know, you're kind of getting pelted by the wind. And you know, obviously the engine's a 1200, so it's not like the 883. I haven't ridden an 883, but you know, it has an extra 300 you know, it's an 883 versus a 1200, so it's a little bit more powerful, obviously. Yeah, that guy gave me a nod. Hopefully you can hear me over this. You know, this bike is significantly louder than any bike I've ever had. Like I said, it is my brother's bike. He bought it or he bought it like a year and a half ago, and it only had, you know, 4,000 miles on it or so. So he hasn't. It's about 10,000 miles now. So yeah, and he put a custom air filter on it, I guess. It's got this big pipe sticking out. You don't want to get your legs caught on the exhaust on this one, that's for sure. It's a fun bike though. I mean, as far as just like if I was just cruising around town, you know, definitely I'd want to take this bike. It turns a lot of heads. People definitely look at it. It's loud. it's definitely the most enjoyable to ride when you're going kind of slower. Because it's just so throaty. I mean, it's just so throaty. Right off the line, you can feel that power. You know, a 4-cylinder bike is just not like that. You don't get the power till you're really revved up high. This thing's just instantaneous power, and then it kind of dies off. Right? You get that power on the low end for sure. So it's just a different experience. You know, that's why I say if you're gonna have two bikes. You know, I have two 4-cylinders, but they're different. They're totally different style bikes. One of them's a street bike, or just kind of like a standard street bike. You know, and then the other one's a full dressing, you know, cruiser type tour bike with the LT. If you're gonna have two bikes though, like typically any bike you ride, like even my brother said, yeah, I'm getting a little. Even if this bike, he said, hey, I'm getting a little. You know, it's just the same thing, right? And that's true with anything. If you ride it for too long, or even with a car, you just get used to it. And so for me right now, it's like, man, I haven't ridden this bike in probably a month or two, and so it's pretty fun for me because it's so much different than what I normally ride. So I would say if you're gonna have one bike, you know, whatever it is, the other one should be like a 2-cylinder. You know, if you're gonna have a 2-cylinder, then maybe get like a 4-cylinder, and vice versa, just because they're so much different. And I didn't ride my FZ6 for probably, I didn't ride it for probably 6 months, you know, at one time. And I came back to that bike, and it felt so weird to me because it felt so lightweight and so quick, because I had been only riding my LT for like 6 or 7 months, and it was just a different experience. But you know, and then after I rode that bike for a while, it kind of felt, you know, just kind of average speed again. So just like with anything, if you switch it up, you know, once you switch it up, you get a little bit more excitement out of something different. Again, that applies to everything in life. It's like, you know, hanging out with the same person. You know, typically you have a couple different friends to hang out with, and then, you know, you don't see one friend for a month or something, and then it's, you know, like, oh, okay, this is fun. I haven't seen you in a while. How are things going? You know, how are things going? That sort of thing. There we go. We got a good little pull there. We got up to 70. That's what this bike is. That's the best part of this bike right there. Just accelerating right off the line, getting up to, like, you know, you're pretty much close to the top speed that you're gonna want to go, and just weaving in and out of cars. That's pretty fun right there. Just a short little video though. I'll be back. I'm probably just going to cut it off here actually, but anyway, it's a good bike. You know, he paid, I think, $5 grand for it or something close to it. So again, there's a really good secondhand market of motorcycles. Like I've said before, most people like the idea of having a motorcycle, but they don't ride it. So this one was 12 years old and that was 11 years old when he bought it in 2019, and it had like 4,000 miles on it. So you do the math on that, that's not a lot of miles per year. And these things are, I mean, it's a Harley-Davidson, so it's reliable. It'll last you, you know, you don't have to do much maintenance on it, and everything's, you know, pretty, everything's right there. There's not a lot of plastic or fairing stuff to work on, so. It's loud, man. I mean, seriously, this is a great bike to ride around and just kind of scare people that are walking down the street, because it's a head turner. Not the police though. Okay guys, I'm gonna end the video here. There's a nice little view of the park, and here, we'll try to get a reaction from these guys. Probably will if we rev it. Yeah, some people kind of get scared. Some people look at you like, you know, what are you doing? All right. Okay, guys. Well, if you want to see maybe some extended rides on this one, or more details or anything, let me know. Other than that, have a good day, stay safe, and enjoy the sun.